Hey folks, Randy Newberg up here in the Yukon. It's cold today, but do I have a hot deal for you? We're running the annual Fresh Tracks Plus giveaway that we do every year, and this year our partners have donated $13,000 worth of amazing prizes that, well, we're gonna give them to you guys because you've been subscribers and you have been supporting us. Now, some of you've been kind of on the fence, and if you want to, now's the time to go check out our free trial. There's a 2-week free trial out there at freshtracks.tv. Go check it out, because you gotta be a subscriber to be in the winnings. And all of you who've been supporting us and you already are a subscriber, don't worry. We appreciate you, and you are automatically entered. You don't have to do anything. So, go to freshtracks.tv. Sign up pretty soon, because this sweepstake doesn't last forever. Thanks for all your support.
Boom, there they were, $3.
Just right down below.
Got wind in our favor. We were coming, kind of angling down towards them.
They got great eyes, great hearing. You're not gonna find them in thick timber this time of year. Not even close to rut hunting.
50, 40, 30, 20. Feel like doing what I was born to do. I'm a predator.
All right, folks. With me is the one, the only Scott Jones, who's known me for, since what, about 85, 86,
Yeah.
somewhere in there?
Yeah.
And we've been on a lot of hunts together.
I met him in a bar.
Yeah, my roommate, Craig Campbell. Craig, you were supposed to be here. Fraidy cat. He's
Yeah.
afraid we'd put him on camera.
No, he got called out on a job.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
no, yeah.
But yeah, Craig, my roommate, was Scott's skiing buddy,
Yeah,
and that's how we met, was through Craig.
yeah, yeah.
And,
Since it'll meet you at the Carson Valley Inn,
Yeah,
we'll start there.
yeah, yeah, and things. We were so much better behaved by ourselves than when we were together.
Yeah. We don't have enough time to tell the story about Metrowave.
No, that one.
You
never,
could, if Craig
yeah.
wasn't there, you could have been in jail or in the hospital.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that was a bad one. That happened to do. There's a punk rock band that came and took over a country bar, and I didn't like it. And they were passing a petition around, and they wanted to get rid of the country band and have the punk rockers there. And they handed it to me, and I wrote something on there that didn't appeal to them. And they're all gonna beat me up. And Craig, my roommate, he's standing in front of that crowd of punk rockers like, he's sorry. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Finally, Craig escorted us out the door. He's like, what was that all about? What? I was trying to get you out of there and you wouldn't shut your mouth. But that was that was before I met my wife, folks.
Yeah.
She straightened me out.
Both our wives did.
Oh, yeah. But we're going to roll back the hand, Scott, to August of 2009.
Well, yeah, opening weekend of Nevada archery deer season.
You mostly remember it because you'd had a knee replacement.
Yeah, I had an 8-week-old knee replacement.
So the deal was, it was our first year on Outdoor Channel, and my contract required that I have 10 episodes. And in the hunting season of 2008, we only got 9 done.
Yeah.
And I called Scott. I'm like, you know any kind of hunt that we could do in August? He's like, archery mule deer.
Maybe now that is a blowout.
To me, it's one of the great untapped resources of Western hunting would be Nevada. Very few issues related to the public-private land interaction. If you're not hung up on having the best tag, you can get a tag pretty easy here. You see the animals, you go. You just go because it is your land.
Just over that lip, you go a little bit further, and you'll be able to see their horns just over that edge. There's 2 bucks. I've drawn a leftover archery mule deer tag for eastern Nevada, and we're out here east of the Ruby Mountains in a small mountain range.
Rifle hunting on your own is difficult. Doing it with a compound bow is even tougher. Hunting on your own on public lands with a traditional longbow is something reserved for only those seeking one of hunting's toughest challenges.
The spot and stock with a longbow is my favorite way to hunt. It's super challenging. Just that excitement I get by doing it in a traditional manner, getting in there close like the Native Americans used to hunt mule deer.
And so your longbow, you had a grip on it, Scott, that it was like a two-hander almost.
Well, yeah. That one was made by Fisk, and I was starting to have shoulder trouble even back then, and so I had it wrapped real thick with some of that. I think it was Sims made it, vibration dampening. Okay. Because it wasn't a very big, heavy bow, so a lot of the vibration went up. So that was what that was for.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was a big grip.
And then you had your own. You had cedar arrows.
Yeah.
And some broadheads that looked like
woodsman.
It looked like a spear.
Those are great. I shot completely through elk with those, and with a longbow, with that same longbow. And they're woodman's 3-to-1 pitch, and I got really good at sharpening them.
Hunter Scott Jones is going to pursue Nevada's mule deer with his traditional longbow and cedar arrows with natural feathers. While compound bows can provide reasonable shooting ranges of about 60 yards, traditional gear is typically limited to 30 yards maximum. Scott will have to be incredibly stealthy to close the gap between him and a mule deer. And with friend Randy Newberg along for the experience, it may help or hinder Scott's chances for success.
I would probably go around this ridge and try to get in front of them. Yeah, it's a lot easier than sneaking on them when they're bedded. They're always looking for danger. Right now they're grazing and kind of making their way over there.
This hunt is probably going to be the hardest hunt I've been on in many years. It's a leftover tag in a unit that not many people want to come and hunt. It's early August, so it's hot. Scott decided he's going to do this with a bow. Not just a bow, but a longbow. Scott just had knee surgery. He's working on a bionic knee right now. This is the test drive for that knee. But the challenge itself is what makes up half the fun of the hunt.
Get on this side of the ridge, because I think those bucks are down over that lip. Yeah, I think so. It's 400 miles from my home to here, so it's not some place that I've ever hunted before or even heard of people hunting before. It was just a spot that I looked at on the map and thought, I'm gonna give this place a try.
I came all the way from Montana to come here and be part of this hunt. I caught up with Scott and said, hey, we got to get some scouting in. We got one day to really scout before season starts. So in the morning, if they were like that again, what would you do? Would you just try to get in front of them if the wind was okay?
If the wind was okay, but if it's anything like this, I would probably come in behind them and see if you could come around this ridge.
And just let my scent slowly.
Yeah, kind of do a soft push.
If there's one thing that I emphasize to people when you come to a new place like this, it's scouting. If we weren't here scouting today, we wouldn't have any idea that there are 2 bucks right over this ridge here that we have the chance for Scott to make a plan on tomorrow. I don't know if this made the episode of us driving around in your Jeep Cherokee that you'd bought from that guy that was a professional rock crawler or whatever.
Yeah, that was a great rig, man. Had air conditioning, heating.
So, but it didn't really have much for a back seat, really. It had a great big tire in the back.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And so we had to go look for water. So we went to all those springs. We made that big loop, and Lauren was in the back. And he got car sick.
It had, well, yeah, I mean, there was a lot of articulation.
Right.
I mean, that thing, but I'd lower the tire pressure down to about 15 pounds and you could fly down those roads. You just,
Yeah,
you know,
felt like you're in a boat.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember the one day we were contemplating what we were going to do for a strategy the next morning, and he said something to the effect of, as long as it doesn't involve me in the back of that Jeep, I'm fine with it.
Well, we ended up finding them fairly close to where we camped.
Right.
Yeah, consistently, yeah.
Scott's been here for a few days. He's already been doing some scouting. He's telling me he's been seeing lots of elk, lots of cattle, and lots of horses. What about the deer, Scott? You got a deer tag.
All elk, Randy.
Yeah. So it's been on here for what, 1 day,
2
2
nights.
days?
2 nights. Where those deer were this morning was clear on up. I think this is about 8,000. They were at about 10,000.
Today we said we got to use this prime morning hour to go look for deer. Now that we've done that, we're going to get camp set up because I just pulled in and crashed. I was tired. I'd driven all day. Part of our goal in this show is to demonstrate that anybody can come to a lot of these states and hunt. I hope that people look at this and say, wow, they went on a leftover tag. They went in the area of that unit that's probably the least desirable because we couldn't get a filming permit in the wilderness area. And we're doing it on our own, and we're doing it on public land. And if you aren't hung up on just, I'm only going if I have the best tag, come out here on a leftover tag. You're still hunting, and it's a ton of fun.
Home sweet home for the next 5 days, Randy.
Right now we're hunting late summer mule deer. They're in the velvet. They're out in more open basin areas because they just want to be in the open. They got great eyes, great hearing. You're not going to find them in thick timber this time of year. This is a great time to be here because if you are able to glass and you have the patience to sit and glass, you're going to see a lot of deer.
What we'll do, I'm going to follow behind you. You carry a cow to start with, and then once we get there, if we got to drop a cow or whatever, 2 of us can hide behind one of these cows. However we got to do it, I guess we'll assess it when we get up there, but this will be a first for me. It won't be a first for me, trust me, it works.
When I called the biologist to get some information about this area and said, look, we can't get a filming permit in the wilderness area, so we're relegated to the other mountain ranges, he got this, oh man, too bad for you kind of tone in his voice. So I came here thinking if we find a deer, we're going to be lucky.
Let's go up here a little ways and drop our bags, Randy.
Well, we're finding deer, and not only are we finding them, but they're kind of consistent in their patterns, which makes me feel pretty confident that we have a really good chance that Scott might get a chance to get an arrow in one of those deer.
Because we gotta get down and around. That's just extra weight. You just hang on right behind me. They're just right out there. They have no idea we're there right now. That doe has us pegged. She's looking right at us. Hang it. Just make it real slow.
It's a tactical game. You're trying to outsmart the animal, even though their brain's not nearly as big as yours. They are so keen. Their senses are so keen. Their sense of smell is probably the thing you have to look out for the most, because once they smell you, they know exactly what you are.
We got behind these cows, and as long as you don't go straight at them and you kind of angle to where they're going and you don't let the wind get to them, obviously the human scent is going to blow them out no matter what. But we got so close, just not within longbow range. We were in range for a compound. As quick as we got right here, Scott, the wind was blowing downhill when we were in that car right there. Quick as we got on this bench, look at what it's doing. Yeah, I know it. Right there. That's, when we were over there, the tactic was to come downwind of them. Yeah. One of the things that we do a lot of times when we're out spotting and stalking is even if we see a doe or a buck that we don't want to go after, or a bull we don't want to go after, we just practice on them. We got within 30 yards. If I would have put the cow down and gave Scott a shot, he had a perfect shot. Even with the longbow, he was in range for that. And then we started laughing and making too much noise, and she ran off. But you learn something, even if it's a doe. And besides that, it's a ton of fun.
You aren't gonna make fun of my cow.
I know. I'm gonna buy one.
Everybody who sees these cows, at first they make fun of it, and then they see something like that, and they're like, that's who I get one of those.
Amazing. All the time I visited here, I don't know that I ever saw it this green in August.
This is it. That's
Yeah, these are those big game guzzlers I was talking about.
When we say Nevada, everybody's going to say dry. It is dry here. And one of the things that you deal with in a dry place like this is there's a lot of habitat, but if there's not enough water, the habitat doesn't do them any good.
These catch aprons collect water, runs into a pipe that's down at the lower end there, and down into these tanks for storage.
These are installed by the Elko chapter of Nevada Bighorns Unlimited. They are set up so that they only are used by wild animals like deer, antelope, and elk.
So what's the deal, Scott? They just jump this fence and they come and
Yeah, the cattle
water
and
right
horses
there.
pretty much can't get through it, and the wild game can. They young ones crawl over it, under it, and big ones jump over it.
even in this really dry period, there's a lot of water, or at least some water, for these animals to make utilization of all this other habitat. We went and filmed all kinds of stuff about feral horses and what they were doing to the range and what they were doing to the water sources. How they had to actually even fence off these, they have this intricate fencing that...
3-pipe.
NBU, Nevada Bighorns Unlimited, had built these drinkers, and they had to incur all this additional cost and headache just to keep the horses out of it.
Yeah.
So we talked about that. We talked about sage being overtaken by cheatgrass. We talked about, I'm thinking about how long I've been talking about these problems here. And I'm not, I guess, the thought that entered my head was, I wanted to talk about it even more in that episode, but the confines of TV, okay, 22 minutes of content, and you got to give us the last, whatever it was, 15 seconds, and then you got to do these repeats coming in and out of breaks. It's like, I can't even tell any of the landscape story or any of the conservation or public land story.
Yeah.
And so, as quick as the chance came in 2016 to start a YouTube channel, I was out of there.
I remember prior to you starting this, when Matthew was in high school, I said, oh, I know this great spot. I killed a big one a few years ago. Pronghorn.
Yeah.
And yet then back then you could draw it every year if you didn't kill, but I shot a pretty nice one. And it was an improved water source that a rancher had improved. And well, I hadn't been out there for like 4 years, and I talked you into putting in for that tag. And in that 4 years, with no control, the horse population had doubled, and the water tank, which were old Army ammo cans from Hawthorne that they used to use for water tanks, those had rusted out, and it was just a dribble that this rancher had put in. He had dug it out and choked it down to where it just dribbled and filled these tanks and kept it on the surface. And there were chukars and sage hen and lots of antelope. And when Matthew drew that tag, we saw 2 antelope, not a single sage hen, and not a single chukar came into water. Because
we saw tons and tons of horses.
They were lined up waiting to drink and chasing everything off.
Yeah, I have a lot of photographs of those horses standing there waiting for their turn.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess the audience who watched that episode, I felt got cheated, because there was a really strong conservation story about the volunteer work of Nevada Bighorn Unlimited, the volunteer work of so many groups, the importance of getting these feral horses under control, the consequence to mule deer. This was some of the best winter range Nevada had, and the horses had just obliterated it. And we wonder why Nevada struggled with mule deer numbers. Well, you can have the best summer range in the world, but if the horses and cheatgrass and fires are destroying the winter range, you don't have a chance to keep those mule deer numbers high. So I thought we had a great story, and then it's got to be compressed to 22 minutes, maybe 20. Then you're supposed to have a kill shot. I didn't check any boxes for the network on that one. I'm surprised they didn't fire me that year. But,
I'm glad they didn't.
We've come up as high as we can. Some of the places we've been hunting are over 10,000 feet. The benefit of that is in the summer, it's greener there, there's more moisture. But even with the moisture at the higher level, it's still highly concentrated in certain locations where the water is.
See that dead drain? They'd be up that way.
So you have to use that as one of your hunting tactics. We've done that by saying, all right, there's water down below this drainage. We know the deer are using this drainage. And in the evenings, we've been able to pattern them coming back up the drainage, feeding in these big sage basins.
I don't think I could circle around them enough to push them up. Okay. And do we want to really booger with them? I'd rather keep them here. Yeah. Those are two different deer. Yeah, they are. One's a nice 4-point, like what, 21, 22 inches. Yeah. The other one's a wider 3-point. Yeah. How about that though? We saw 3 bucks this evening.
Yeah, that's hot.
I'm excited, man.
Tell that biologist that there are some deer here.
Amazing how after a day on the mountain, even something as simple as tacos, something as simple as spaghetti, seems like it came from a fine restaurant, even when the cook is as bad as I am. The biggest surprise of this hunt, to me, has been how consistently we've been in deer. I was left with the impression that if we saw 1 or 2 deer on this hunt, boy, that'd be a great deal. Well, we've seen deer every day on this hunt. And we know that in the summertime, the bucks are in the high alpine. So if you spend most of your time at the higher elevation, the percentage of deer you're gonna see that are bucks is gonna be very high. So we've been very lucky in that sense. And it's really surprised me to see how many bucks we've been running into. Even though the wind was really screaming, it was one of the most beautiful sunrises I've seen in a long time. Holy cow, I feel like I can see forever.
We're lucky enough here in the United States to have public land hunting. You don't have to be a 6-digit salary to afford to hunt like in other countries.
I'm sitting at 10,000 feet and I can see for miles. Probably 80–90% of that's public land. And the place where the mule deer live, that is public land. This little basin here, I think, would be out of the wind. Is that a deer right there? Scott, right behind that tree. Yeah, there's that buck. We're watching the sun come up as we're walking up the road that comes up here. And we glass in the basin, and there are the same deer that we've been seeing consistently every day.
Looks like they're heading the same direction. I don't know how we would get up there.
No, there's 3 of them. There's another one.
Those are both bucks. The doe is the one way off to the right. If ever's our chance to try to get on them again with the cow decoys, it might be right now. We got to drop down probably right here in Side Hill.
Okay.
Just because yesterday they just kept moving in front of us. Here we can drop down further.
Kind of cut them off?
Yep.
Okay. Just tell me what to do with these cows.
We've been using a cow decoy made by Montana Decoys, and I was surprised at how well it worked. We were able to get within 60 and 50 yards, but using traditional equipment, I really would like to be a little closer.
I know Scott would never admit this, but his knee, I don't want to say problem, but gosh, he is just toughing it out. And I feel guilty when I watch him walk. But Scott Jones would never say boo about anything.
Scott, drop your cow. This wind, just tuck in behind me. We're going with 1 cow.
It's been part of the challenge of the hunt, to cover the ground like I used to, and I think I'll be even stronger next year.
We know where they're trying to go this morning, same place as yesterday. You don't want to go straight at them or they get spooked. And our wind's coming uphill right now. We ready?
When you add the level of challenge that we have added to this hunt, that just brings everything you could think of to hunting right to a focus. And we are here and we're doing it and we're having a blast.
The closer we get to the animals, the more of a thrill it is. That's why we really enjoy archery hunting. We enjoy rifle hunting also, but archery hunting, and particularly with traditional equipment, you have to get very close to the animal, and that just compounds the thrill.
What do you think when I pulled out those big cow decoys? You didn't laugh out loud?
Well, we raised registered black Angus in Nevada, and it didn't look a whole lot like.
Yeah.
And I was amazed. In fact, I went and bought one when we got back.
They were made by Montana Decoy Company, and I don't even know if they're still in existence. But the later ones got kind of a bluish color to them. They weren't the black ones like we had. And but yeah, me and you and Lauren sneaking along. I'm holding the cow decoy out here. You're right behind me, and Lauren's right behind you, and we're trying to sneak up on deer.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. I think we've learned over the years, the cameraman does not have to be just over the shoulder,
No.
like they do during some of the whitetail
Right.
deer stand type hunting.
Yeah, that was another learning experience. Is Lauren was given instruction that you got to be right over the shoulder. Well, that's not easy to do. When he's walking around, he's got headphones on, monitoring our audio, and we're trying to sneak and be quiet.
Yeah. Three times the scent.
Yeah, 3 times the movement, 3 times the noise. What did you think when we all showed up and said that's how we had to do this?
I thought this is going to be tough. Because, I have shot, my longest was 52 yards. And, he didn't know what hit him and dropped in 20. But, boy, I can't tell you how many, I don't want to say hundreds, but dozens of stalks that I went on that didn't pan out.
Yeah.
Just trying to get that close with a longbow. Well, last night of the hunt, we got some deer spotted. We're gonna try having Randy push them towards me. And let's hope the arrow flies straight.
We have been so close so many times, but when you're doing it with a longbow, you have to expect you're going to have your share of frustrations, and we've had that. But we look at each other, we say, you know what, this is what we asked for. This is what we said we're going to do. And whether we get one or not, the fact that Scott and I met our agreement between each other that we're going to come hunting again this year, right there makes it a success, whether Scott gets his deer or not.
Range this tree down here and see if that's within my distance. Nope, that's a little too far. I gotta wait till they get closer to that tree.
I get a lot of satisfaction out of using a longbow. It's about the hunt. It's not about the kill. For me, it's that excitement that I feel getting in close, doing it in a traditional manner.
I'm right below him. I'm paralleling him, bumping him up the hill.
They got through. That's the end of that game.
They blew out of this basin between him and me. Randy was trying to push those deer up this drainage to us. He tried to get them up the hill, and they decided to go side hill and blow out of the basin.
I don't know what more we could have done to ratchet up the level of challenge here, but that's part of why we hunt. If it was really easy, I don't know that there would be as much passion and excitement and just enthusiasm for getting out there and doing it. Well, when I look at this episode,
you never released an arrow, really. I mean,
Well, I shot at the last night,
right.
but it was downhill,
Yeah.
and I always aimed low for fear they'd jump the stream, and I always thought, you know, I'd rather miss them low than hit them high.
It's 20 yards right over this lip.
Something in your instincts just takes over. I'm in the moment, doing what I was born to do. My eyes are on the front of my head. I'm a predator. I can still see it. I got him, and it went just underneath, and then it hit a rock, and there was a little flash, a spark.
Yeah. I can't believe we talked you into doing any more episodes after that.
Oh no, that was fun. Randy, I've enjoyed all of it. It's been, even when I was just camp cook, and I've really enjoyed it.
Oh, I know you have, and I have too, and the audience has. And
Through their ups and downs of this hunt, Scott and Randy ultimately enjoyed their time together in their pursuit of the game. He dealt with the early August heat, late summer deer patterns, and the big challenge of getting within that short distance for his longbow. Scott and Randy definitely consider this an on-your-own hunt for the memory books. The reality of any on-your-own hunt is you're never guaranteed success. It's the act of hunting itself which draws millions of sportsmen and women back to the field year after year. And the very best part of any on-your-own adventure is that it's completely accessible and completely achievable by you, the real American hunter.
you know, the funny part about this episode is, and part of why I ended up leaving TV, and really the confines of TV to me were so artificial of how I wanted to tell hunting stories, right? They got this episode, we turned it around really fast because we filmed everything in 2008. The first season airs in 2009.
Starts August 1st, 2009.
Yeah, so we got to take this August hunt and get into that roll order. So I remember being on the road and they called me and they're like, "Hey, we got this episode. Where's the kill shot?" Don't have one. Uh-oh. What do you mean you don't have one? And so after a lot of back and forth, I told them, I said, "Look, I pay you guys all this money to air this show, and all the contract requires is I deliver you 10 episodes of this length with this breaks for commercials. When we come back from a commercial break, we got to repeat the prior 30 seconds, Bob, you know, all this stuff. There's nothing in there that says I have to have a kill shot. And by the way, the fact that we had a kill shot in all other 9 episodes we sent you this year is a miracle."
Yeah.
It never goes that good.
No.
So they sent me an email that I say is kind of a cover your butt email. Kind of like, "Okay, yeah, you're correct. We do have to air it, but we strongly advise against it. This is not good for your brand, not good for the network, not good for the time slot." Whatever. Well, it goes out, and at the time, Outdoor Channel had Nielsen ratings. And so all of us show producers, we get our Nielsen ratings after the end of each quarter. And it'd say this week and this week. Well, I knew what week each episode aired.
Yeah.
It was one of the top 3 or 4 episodes we had of the whole season. And that confirmed to me a lot of things. One, that the experts don't always know.
Right.
That people wanted to watch just regular folks and, you know, friends and family out there on the public land just doing their thing. And that this idea that you had to have a kill shot, as much as I still to this day refuse to make that the requirement. Even that back then is like, I don't think you need a kill shot to tell a true hunting story. If that's what you need to tell a hunting story, it's not a hunting story.
Yeah, it's a killing story.
Yeah, so it kind of set the path for where we were going to go with this show. sponsors or no sponsors.
Yeah, good, good.
People see us wearing moth-wing clothing at that time.
And they were switching to the what was the OptiFade,
Yeah.
and luckily it was on sale at Shields, but all they had left was XXX. So I remember.
So that's how you ended up.
Yeah, it looks pretty baggy.
Well, that's kind of another. If you look at that show, I didn't have a relationship with Sitka, but the first year we tried Russell and Sitka, and I can't remember all the brands, Under Armour and everything, and I went back after that first season and asked everyone, well, what did you think? What was the best clothing? Oh, Sitka. So I'm buying full retail Sitka for a long time. And finally, Jason, one of the founders, sees me at the SHOT Show. And he's like, hey, get over here. He's like, aren't you glad we got you set up? I'm like, set up? What are you talking about? I'm paying full retail down at Sportsman's Warehouse. He's like, what? I'm like, yeah. He's like, Brinker, David Brinker was employee number 5 or something at Sitka. Get over here. And David was just this great young guy. And Jason's like, you make sure this guy doesn't have to buy our stuff. And
great.
so, yeah, that's all these things. Looking at this, when I went and rewatched this one episode, my mind feels like we started in the era of horse and buggy, and we ended up in the era of electric vehicles or something. It's how far we've come. But I think about our show and our platforms and what our mission is, Scott. And I think people can relate to it because people like you and Jerry and Bart and Bo, and the list goes on and on. You know, at the beginning, Bryce, you know, he'd been on quite a few hunts, and there are just so many people who've wanted to have their story told. And sometimes they had to talk me into it, and because I didn't want to impose on their hunt.
Yeah.
You know, and then family members, you know, my Uncle Larry, he's always a favorite.
Yeah.
My brother Jason, and now getting Jason's girls out there and trying to tell the story about how much family in our family and your families, that the hunting and outdoor experiences mean to our family relationships, and all of that hopefully makes our content relevant. And so that when we ask people to speak up and advocate and say, hey, this issue about conservation or about public land or about public access, it needs your voice, that we can inspire them to do that. I mean, that's the whole idea behind it.
Yeah, and you had to push it on that one with Uncle Elt. You know, he's such a fun guy. I lived one street down from him in Johnson Lane, and we don't have him anymore.
No, that's unfortunate. And but we have those stories. We have sitting around that campfire, him playing his guitar. And
I remember the night at your wedding reception, him getting out his guitar. And
oh yeah, he was a treat. And I think everybody who watches our content and sees my uncles in those stories has an Uncle Larry or an Uncle Elt or an Uncle Jim or Uncle Mike, or, you know, whatever it might be. And that's what we want the story to be. It doesn't have to be about the biggest or the most or the farthest shot or whatever. And if that's what people want to watch, there's a lot of content out there for them to watch that is focused on that. But for us, the story, this 2009 August hot weather mule deer hunt with your longbow, that meant a lot to me. It when I saw the results of it and the feedback that we got via emails, it confirmed that I wasn't completely out to lunch in my idea that people wanted something different. And I remember when I left traditional TV, we were the first group to leave TV and go to YouTube, and everyone's like, oh, you're gonna sink. What a mistake. You've spent, however many years building this TV brand. What are you thinking? I'm
Best
thinking
thing you
that
ever
I'm
did.
tired of the way I got to tell my stories on TV.
All right. Well,
And I need some place where if it only deserves 12 minutes, you're only getting a 12-minute story. But if it deserves 45 minutes, because there's a really important conservation issue or a really important access thing, it's getting 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that people stuck with us, hung in there, especially guys like you.
Yeah. Man, cherish your friendship, man.
Oh, absolutely, Scott. You're one of the favorites that people are always asking, when are you going to have Scott on again? So the answer is, here you go. He's on again. You're getting 2 for 1. He's here on a hunt with us, and now you're getting the retail of his August 2009 archery mule deer hunt.
Yeah. I look forward to the future with, Jace and Marcus and Michael and.
Yeah. I mean, you and I, you see how funny, Kim sent me a video. It's called Old Man Noises. It's it's about how many noises guys make when they're just getting up out of the chair, or if they walk over to get a drink of water. And she told me, she's like, you're nothing but old man noises. I never know if you're talking to me or what. So I was watching you, and then I was hearing myself getting up out of our glassing position this morning.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, those are old man noises.
It takes about 4 steps to loosen up, too.
So we better hope that Jason, Marcus, and Michael, and Matthew, and the rest of them want to do that, because pretty soon all we're going to be good at is old man noises.
Well, I still want to come along and and cook and.
Anytime you want to be here, Scott.
Yeah.
Anyhow, folks, I hope that gives you a lot of background, maybe not necessarily all about that hunt, but a lot of things that were going on at that time. Scott would listen to me when I'd call him about how frustrated I was with this and how much money it was costing and no sponsors, and how people thought I was probably crazy, and I probably was, but I just appreciate Scott Jones. I appreciated him before we started this, but I appreciate him even more now. And I appreciate all you who watch and listen, and when we ask you to do something, to speak up or volunteer or do something for wildlife, wild places, wild things, y'all do that. So thanks so much for watching.